is trying to arrange what home comes first, what am I showing right now, especially with COVID. A lot of properties, you have to set a 15-minute window, you have to this, you have to that, they're so specific on the showings right now. You have to have an appointment, so it can get really confusing, especially if you're showing out of the area, like maybe one home's in Corona and one's in Riverside or something like that. So what I'm really hoping is that you guys are able to, to get something from it that helps you guys, with planning and hopefully being a little bit more, streamlined, because like I said, it can get overwhelming. I think the hardest part, excuse me, for agents is getting a hold of agents. Okay, so let me share my screen here. Give me a second. So here is the MLS. This is a realtor's best friend. So this here is, I'm sure you guys are familiar with what it looks like. So real briefly, I'm going to show you guys how to set up an auto campaign. That way, if you don't know how, it'll help you. And if you do, then great. But basically the auto campaign, the purpose of it is so you don't have to be on the MLS every 10 minutes to see, what's coming, what's being listed and what's changing status and stuff like that. So you can always set up different types of campaigns, even email to yourself if you don't want to email it to your clients. Let's say you farm a certain area, you want to be a specialist in a certain area, then you can always input this information and get it sent to you on a daily basis. So that way you can keep up with what's selling, what's going on. I highly recommend you do this if you get a listing and you're farming around that listing, so you can see how much activity actually is taking place. And you should be touching that community at least 8 times when you have a listing. And if you're not, then you're losing opportunities. And by you gauging it and paying attention to it, you're going to realize how many opportunities, because what do they say? When one sells, there's going to be more. And that's just kind of what happens. So here we are. Let's say, you have a client who says, Eva, I'm interested in a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, in Upland. I am qualified for 700,000. So here you're going to go into search, residential, detail, and you're going to select coming soon, active, for what's available, and then decide if they want single family. If they're adamant about it and they're like, I just want a house, I don't want a townhome, I don't want a condo, then definitely just select single family. If they're not sure and they don't know, then I wouldn't select it, because again, a lot of times consumers don't know really what they want or what they're able to afford. So when you just put single family, then you're leaving out the rest. So if they seem like an undecisive buyer that they just really don't know, or maybe that they're not going to find anything in that price range, because obviously we know the market, and you don't want to just throw it out there and say, hey, this is, you're not going to find it, then maybe leave those open, so that way they can kind of look at it and say, hey, you know what, this isn't a bad idea. This is a townhome, and it's in our price range, and it makes more sense for us. So we never know, so let's not assume for our clients. So here you're just going to do your search like you would if they said, Upland, then you can input the city Upland here. Oops, Upland. And then here, like, let's say they said they want a 3-bedroom or more, 2-bath or more. And dependent upon you, I mean, obviously everybody's overbidding right now. So you can put 700 minus, you can put 710 minus, you can, whatever you feel. I'm going to put 710 only because sometimes there might be older inventory that's been there for a while. So maybe I want to see that. So that's the purpose. I'll go a little bit above if it makes sense, just depending on the client. So here, if they're adamant about it has to be 1,400 square feet, or it has to have something, if not, just leave it open. Leave it open, because again, sometimes clients do say, it has to be 1,700. And then there's one that's 1,650 because you put 1,700, and that, they call you and say, hey, I didn't get, you didn't send this one to me. But again, it's not what they mentioned, but they do change their mind, and very often as well. So we'll basically leave it at that. We only have 15 matches here. And you also have the option, if they tell you go here to map, if they tell you, you know what, I only want to be above the 210. I don't want to be below the 210. And they know for a fact, like, I want to be in a certain community, then you can use this pin right here to draw where you want them to be. Or if there's multiple areas, you can use it again. And let's just say they want to be in this particular area as well. So you can decide by drawing that, and that also helps. So that way you're only getting, what you want, because there are some times where you need to be very specific. And like I said, there's others where you don't need to be. So we're going to delete the shape now, just because this is just to show you the options, but I want more. So here's the results of what's, what comes available. Now, it's really important to pay attention to the kind of sale it is. Now, if you're not familiar with short sales, short sales a lot of times are obviously more time consuming. And I want to say, honestly, 9 times out of 10, the listing agent will try to sell it themselves just because they want to. They're going to discourage a lot of the buyers out there, or a lot of agents, unless they don't have a buyer, because sometimes you really don't know if it's a true short sale. And I'm going to tell you this because back when there was all short sales, it was different. People were doing it. But now a lot of homeowners know that they have to be delinquent in order to do some of the programs that are available to them as a homeowner. So what do agents say? Let me just list it, just because, and it's truly not for sale. I've seen that happen. I've talked to homeowners where they tell me, the agent said I had to list it, but I told them I'm not selling my house. So definitely, if that is a house that your client sent you the address and they want to know, talk to the agent, get some more information, and make sure that it is something that is in fact a true, for sale, a home that is for sale. So if you don't want to include it, then you simply just don't have to mark it. So what I do is I'll come down here and select save. Now, when you select save, I want to select a new auto email. So this is selecting, an email to be automated to my client every time something is available. So you can come here to create a new contact. So unless they're already in there, then you can leave them. But if they're not, I'll just put this Sonia test, and then Sonia, and then I'll just put this email. And then you can decide if there's multiple emails, let's say it's husband and wife, then you can just simply put a comma and put their email there as well. Or maybe your client has 2 emails, a work email and a regular email. So always ask them, where do they want the properties emailed to? So that way, obviously you make sure that you're doing that. And then once you have inputted, the emails, you can put the cell phone there, because this does remain in your contacts, which is nice. If you ever lose a number or something, it's nice to know that you can go in one place and it'll always be there. So you're going to save this. And now here it is. It shows, who the contact is that's going to receive this. So subject, you can write, Upland Homes, or you can put, homes available, or if you have multiple cities, whichever makes more sense. So this, you should have a welcome email to them, which is the first email they're going to receive. And it kind of gives them, direction and instruction on how to, when they receive the email, what to do. So that way they can communicate with you on homes they like and homes they don't like, or might possibly like. So down here under settings is where I typically, because let me tell you this, if I have a buyer who is like, you know what, I want a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, very easy. They're not particular about anything. They're kind of open to anything. Then I will leave it as just do schedule ASAP. So that means as soon as it hits the market, they get it immediately. There's no waiting. So that if that buyer is pretty open to anything, then I'll do that. But I'll tell you this, I like to do the concierge mode on the clients that, let's just say, for instance, they say, I have to have 4 bedrooms, Sonia, I have to. And if it's a den, I'm okay with that. If it's a loft, I'm okay with that. Well, a lot of times the input in the MLS is only as good as the agent who inputs it. So if they didn't take the time to really go in there and complete that MLS, with all of the true, features that the home has, you could be missing a lot of opportunities. So by enabling the concierge mode, what happens is I would select 3 bedrooms, even though I know my client wants 4. And on the concierge mode, it's going to send to me first. So I have to, review and approve the homes. I don't know if any of you guys have ever had any clients who say, you're just sending me stuff I don't want to see. You're not even, scrubbing the homes. Like, I told you I want this. So this actually avoids all that, because what happens is every time something comes available, it gets sent to you first and you have to approve it. So you should really pay attention and know what your client is looking for. So that way you make sure that what they receive is something of interest. It has the minimal characteristics that they're looking for. I can't tell you how many times people do put 3 bedrooms, but in the, in the description, they'll put potentially 4 bedroom because 1 room is this, currently used as a 4th bedroom. But again, the MLS doesn't know how to pick that up, because if they put 3 bedrooms, it's not going to pick that up. So that's why I say that it's important to do that. The other thing is, if your client says, I want a pool home, if you select pool, but it's in an HOA, they're going to get those pool homes. And again, they might get upset and say, you know what? You're sending me homes that I don't want to see. So just be mindful of that. You want to come across as a professional. That is our number 1, is to come across as, you know what, again, they need us. We're doing the legwork. They can easily go on Zillow, realtor.com and all these other sites and look for homes themselves. But here we are telling them, don't look at those sites. Look at what I send you. But if you're sending me all kinds of stuff that isn't what I'm looking for, do you think they're going to, want to do that? Or are they going to follow your direction or not? So just always keep that in mind. So when you enable the concierge mode, I go here, save, go to approvals. So here it is. So what I would do is, and yeah, it takes a little bit more time, but again, it's going to build that relationship. They're going to feel comfortable because you know what they're looking for. And you're going to look at each property, see if there's anything in particular that is important, maybe a red flag. Maybe they told you they don't want to view any home someone passed away in. Again, you're not going to know that. Hopefully the agents are up front and put that in the description, for agent remarks, but sometimes that might be missed too. Maybe they don't want solar. They might say, I don't want anything that has solar. So again, those are the things that you're going to scrub through this, and you're going to make sure that everything looks good. The other thing too is, remember, every home is in a different tax rate. So we should only be sending our clients what they're able to buy. If you're shooting them all these homes and then they tell you, guess what, Gabriella, I want to see, A street, B street, and C street. So Gabriella makes those appointments, goes, and then they want to write offers. And guess what? The tax rate throws them out. So Gabriella wasted all her time with instead of doing it up front, instead of looking at, okay, does it have supplemental taxes? Is it going to throw me off of where they qualify for? So we should be doing the work ahead of time instead of creating more work. And then what happens when we tell our clients, oh, sorry, you don't qualify for this house. So why did you send it to me? Okay, so those are things I really want you guys just, like I said, do the homework up front. That's it. So let's just pretend that this one is a no-go. So we're like, okay, I can't, show this one. So like I said, you're just going to go through each and every one of them and make sure. And you know what? Sometimes they only want single story or two story or what have you. And you'd be surprised. Agents put single story and I'm like, wait a minute, that's two story. So like I said, the input is only as good as the agent. So if the agent is not inputting, or they don't really know what they're doing, or they have an assistant doing it, because I've seen that, they're like, just put in the bare minimum and just hit it active. They don't really take the time to really put in the right facts. So again, you want to make sure all of those things are checking out. And there's a message here from Josie. Can you choose more than one city? Oh yes, you can. You can choose more than one city. A lot. You can choose all cities. You could do counties, so you can really do it however you want. And so once we scrub through all of them and you know which ones you're going to send and which ones you aren't, you can come down here and then you can approve all 15, or you can just mark the ones you're going to approve and then you approve selected. So this is just up to you. If you decide I want to approve this property, this one and this one, let's just say that these are the only ones that meet the criteria, then you're just going to approve selected. So you're going to hit approve selected. And then what happens now is you approved 3 listings sent already to your client. So what you're going to do with the other ones is you're actually going to
just reject them.
Yeah, you're going to highlight them all and then you're going to reject it. And the nice thing about this, when you do it this way, it shows you what you sent and what like, let's just say something comes up, or like, let's say someone, a new, like it was available, then went pending, then it came back available. Like it'll come on there and show you, like, you sent this to your client at one time, so it might be something that they like or they don't like. So that's basically how you set up the auto email for your clients. And if you ever want to change it, you just go into my matrix and down here is auto emails. So let's say I go down here to, let me find where I did it. So here I am. Where am I? I know I should be here somewhere. Oh yeah, here it is, Sonia Test. If I wanted to, I would just hit this arrow down and I can go into the settings, criteria. And I hear, let's just say she says, you know what, go ahead and put Rancho in there now. So then I can add Rancho Cucamonga. You see what I said? So this would be the fastest, easiest way, instead of creating a brand new, unless she says in Rancho, I only want something separate than what this is, then obviously you'll do a whole new search. But if it's the same criteria, but she's now open to Claremont or Montclair or Ontario, then you can just simply add the cities and go from there. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that just to show you that. And then hold on a second. So once you do that, and so if you notice here, this is your concierge. If you don't see this on your screen, then scroll down and look for the blue toolbars. You want to put it so that way you can see it. So all you have to simply do is you can drag it anywhere, but you want to make it so that way it's somewhere, that way as soon as you log on, because you could be logging on from a mobile device, and if it's too far down on the screen, you're not going to see it. So it's important that you pay attention to this. So all of these need my attention. They're telling me, Sonia, there's a new home for this particular person. So if I click on here, I'm going to take a look and see if this is something that I believe she's going to like. So again, I'll check it. I'll look and I'm saying, okay, yeah, everything looks good. HOA is fine. And then, like I told you, I'll check here for the taxes and make sure that everything's good there. There's no special assessments, very minimal. Yeah, we're good. We're good to go here. And then I'll go back. And so once I know it's okay, then I can approve it. If I didn't think it was okay, then I would select it and then I would reject it. But if I think it's fine, then I'm going to send it to her. And then when your clients, if you notice here, you're going to see when they're looking and when they're not. So this actually helps you keep on track as well. So you can contact them and say, hey, I noticed that, you got the homes I sent you. Was there anything that you liked? Because remember, not everybody knows how to use the hearts and everything else. So you do want to help them because it makes your job, easier as well. So like this particular client marked that they like these properties. So for whatever reason, this one's on hold. And so if I wanted to, all I have to do is tap the little square with like a note, and I can send him a note and he'll get it. So I can just tell him this home is on hold. I will get details. Add note. And now he has that note, and then he can reply back and forth to me. So it's kind of nice because you know which property you're talking about. And so that's the nice thing about that. Does anybody have any questions so far before I move on? No questions. Okay, good. So that's in a nutshell. Like I said, there are more, classes that might be a little bit more in depth or maybe step by step through the CRMLS if you guys are interested in those. But that's really, to be honest, the basic and easy way. There is a lot more fancy things you could do, but to me, I want to get in and get it done. That's the main thing, is just get in, get it done. And that is sufficient enough for you to do that.
I like the concierge.
Yes.
Because I can call them and say, hey, did you see the one with all the bathroom upgrades? And then they're like, oh my gosh, she is looking at them like us.
Exactly. It's so true. Or like you're saying, a lot of times if I see something that I'm like, oh my God, they're going to love this one, because you already know what they're looking for, or you should, right? So you send it and then send them a text message. Oh my gosh, I just sent you one. I think you're going to want to see this today. Like, and it's so true. They're excited because they know that you're on top of it, instead of they're just getting all these emails. They don't hear from you. What's really going on? So it does help you to engage more. Definitely. If you haven't tried it, definitely try it. So once we're here, now that you've sent them homes and they send you, the homes that they want to view. So I'm going to go back here and just go back to the search that I did. And then I'm going to show you, let's just say out of all these houses that I showed them or I sent to them, they ended up, pushing the heart for these particular homes. So there ends up being 6 that they like. So not every time are you going to get, all of them like this, in one email from them. So you could just check and it's easy. It's not that easy. A lot of times they'll send you different addresses, so they're not grouped together. You have to do the search to even see if they're available or what the case is. So in that case, what I usually do is if I have to type in the address, so I'm going to pretend this is one. I'm just going to show you guys as an example. So what I'll do is I would just put the address up here, search the address. Oops, hold on. So I'm going to search it here. It's giving me, hold on, let me do it again. Maybe because I didn't type it.
Take the north.
The N.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real finicky. It wants it to do it its way, right? Not our way.
Yeah.
So if I didn't like, let's say I had to type in each address and I don't have them conveniently where I can check, then what I'll do is I will highlight every single listing ID. And then for me, I'm a notes person. If you notice, I have 1,400 notes. I'm a note person. So here, I'll go here, I'll paste it, put the comma, and then I'll go back into, I don't write anything, I don't use paper. So everything is copy paste back and forth. And I'll go, let's just say, to the next home, for instance, just to save time. I just want to get a few just so I can show you guys. I'll just do it like this of all the properties that they want to view. I'll come in here, paste it again, and then I hate when that happens. I don't know why it does that. Okay, so I'm gonna have to do it like this. I don't know why it does that sometimes, but here we go. So I'll just have to put it in here. And then
Jen said,
back.
where are you pasting the MLS IDs?
In my notes. So your notes on your, here's the notepad on your, it's if you're using your computer, your Mac, or even if it's not a Mac, I know you should have notes on a regular computer, right? You have like a note, a sticky note. I know that you have that option. Or if you're on your iPad, you have the notes. So anywhere notes, just somewhere it's like a pad. So I'm just gonna do a few just to show you. I wanna make it as realistic as possible. So this would be me singing and dancing while I'm copying and pasting. Excited to hopefully show them homes that are truly available, right? It's like crazy right now. You don't even have time to do anything. They're like, should we eat dinner first? No, don't eat dinner, just get here. So I'll just do those. Okay, so once I do that, then I will copy all of them. Let me take that out. Make sure you have those commas, otherwise it's not gonna know, it's not gonna recognize them. So you're gonna copy, go back into here to your search bar, paste them, hit enter, and they're gonna come up. Now they're all lined up for you. Like for me, it has to be this way. I'm not a very particular person, but when it comes to certain things, I try to make it as easy for myself as possible. There's no way for me to know where all of these are located if I'm looking them up individually. It's just too much work. So it's easy to copy and paste, and then I can put them together and I'll show you why. So now I'm gonna call, or not even that, sorry, let me back up. Before I do that, I am going to select all of them because I want to see where they are in conjunction with one another. And then what you can do is you can either do print, if it right now, because they're in the same city, so it's pretty, they're not really far, so it's easier. But when they're further, I'll show you a different way that I do that. But what I do is I select the multi-map, and then I'll select the agent full, and I'll print it to my PDF. So that means, again, I'm not printing, I'm looking at it on my screen. So I'm going to take a look. It's generating right now. So I am going to actually go to the last page. Now, I personally use PDF Expert. So what I typically do, and that's for another class, but I'll export it as PDF and save it just so that way I can mark on it. I mean, that's what I do. You guys, we'll get to that class just to show you soon. But in case you're thinking, well, I want to print it because I want to be able to write on it. I get it. I'm the same way. So here it's in my, hold on a second. I have to bring it up front in order for it to share with you guys. Okay. So here I brought it. Sorry, did I stop my share on accident? Here, again, I'm telling you guys, I am going to go to this last page, which is the map. The purpose of this is it shows me where each home is. So because I already know, let's just say if I'm going to make appointments, it wouldn't make sense for me to say, oh, I'll be here at 1 and I'll be here at 1:30 and then I'll be back here at 2. You see what I'm saying? So it just kind of helps me, okay, what home am I going to schedule first? So the first thing I'm going to do once I'm here is I'm going to take a look. So 1 and 5. So 1 and then 5. So then obviously I'm going to take a look, and this is Brookhaven and Moonbeam. So I'll go and look for those. So I can see how, is it appointment only? Is it scheduled through showing time? Like, what is it? How can I get an appointment? So that way I can make sure that I'm able to line them up. And then I also have a, a direction for my client, because they're going to think I'm nuts if I start here and then go here and then go there and then go here and then go there. They're going to think I'm crazy. So you want to see, where's my client coming from? They're coming from Highland, let's say. So you know what? Why don't we start up here? We'll start here, we'll go here, we'll come down this way, and we'll end here. So you just want to make sure that you're able to schedule those appointments, based on where they're located. And what I typically do is I will send this. Okay, so there's another trick. So right now I just inputted them because I have no clue which home's going to go first, which home's going to go second, third, or fourth, or anything. I still have to call. I still have to confirm appointments. I still have to do all of that stuff. So once I know what direction and how I'm going to show them. So the first one is here. We know this is number one. So what you're going to do is when you copy and paste, you're going to paste them in the order of how you want to show them. And when you do that and you hit enter, it's going to tell you, you're going to see, pretend it's an order right now. You're going to say, oh, okay, this is the order we're showing them in, because you've arranged them. And then what you do is you save this and you send it to your client and you tell them, these are the homes we're going to view. They're in order. And what this does is it gives them basic information. I also give them the client flyer as well. But this is, to be honest, this is all they pay attention to. And the reason why is because they have to keep it handy, because they need to know where they're going next. And I don't give them a hand or a printed copy. I text it to them. If they're on iPhone, because on my phone, I can, send them the picture. And also, even if they're on a Droid or whatever that's called, when if they're out of this world, right? They don't use iPhone, then you can still send a picture. You just can't send PDF, but you can send them a picture. And it's nice because when you're done showing the home, it's like, okay, we're going to the next home. It's not like, oh, where are we going? And I'll follow you. It's none of that. It's okay, I know where we're going. We're going to the next home. So it just makes it so much easier. I'm telling you, we have enough to do when we show up, and we have to be ready. We have to be on our A game. You see what I'm saying? Like, we honestly do. We have to be paying attention to everything else that's going on and what's happening in this house. So if we're, shuffling, oh my God, where are we going next? What are we doing? It's just do all the work ahead of time and enjoy the time with your clients, because that's their time. So, do you guys want me to show you how to do them in order so you understand, or you guys understand how to do that?
Yes, in order, please.
Okay. So let's just say this particular one. So 1 and 5. So I know that 1 is going to go first. So 1 is good. And then 5 is going to actually be 2. And then let's see, we'll go to 4 next. So then 4 is going to be 3. And then we'll go to 2 is going to be 5. And then 3 is going to be 6. Okay, so in that order is how I have to paste them. So I already know 1 is in its place. So I'm gonna look at here. This one is SW. So let me copy that. I'm gonna go back here, and I think I have to bring you guys here. Can you guys see it now?
Yes.
Okay, so then I'm gonna go here. Let me go back home. And you're just gonna paste them as you're gonna show them. So let me go back here. So I didn't do 1. So we'll do 1, copy. Oh, hold on. Okay, and then we're gonna go here to 2 was 5. I have to do it this way because otherwise I have to keep sharing my screen and it's driving me nuts. But I would typically go back and forth off my whatever I marked. So just so you guys know that. And then I'll go, where are we at? So 4 was 3. And then of course, like I told you, make sure, I mean, right now everything's selling pretty quickly. So and I'm going to show you the purpose of this too, of why, like I said, I really enjoy doing this way. It just makes it so much easier. And so 4, so 2 is next. Two. And then 3. Okay, so now that I paste them in the order I want them to be shown in, this is it. So when I do the print multi-map, let's just say I just do the multi-map, print to PDF, so you guys can see, it should be right in order. So I'm going to show them like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now I'm going to call, and the beauty of this, to be honest, once you're there, let's just say 4 hasn't confirmed or sent you the CBS code, or they haven't replied or done anything. It makes it super easy to just knock out. I mean, oh, hold on, it's not on my, let me send it to my export as PDF. It makes it super easy for you guys to just take it out of your showing. Hold on, I got a new share again. Resume share. Hold on. Wait. Sorry, the sharing is, where are we at? So what happens is, let me X out of here and bring in the new one. So when you're showing your clients, like I said, here it's nice because it, you know where you're going. But let's say agent on this street, Ukiah Street, says, you know what, Eva, I'm sorry, but my seller's saying no, you can't show it anymore. So it makes it super easy for you just to write on here and just know not available to show. You can exit out or what have you, and then you can come down here on the 4 property input, sellers not showing or whatever the case is. So that way you remember why or what's happening, why you're not, going to be showing that property. And it just makes it super easy. And so when you're showing, it's easy to take it off and it won't throw you off route. So you're going to tell your client, you know what, after 3, we're no longer going to see 4, we're going to go to 5. And like I said, it just makes it easier opposed to saying, oh, we're going to Brookhaven, but we're not going to Moonbeam. And then they're like, wait, what? It's just easier that way. It just makes it, a lot easier. So once you, let me take this out, let me erase that. Once like I said, which ones you're going to show, then you can simply, hold on, tell your clients what time the appointment is that you're going to meet them at. So let's say you're sending them this and at Brookhaven. So then you're going to tell them like, 1 p.m. So they know that you're going to meet them here at 1 p.m. If you have anything else that you know that they're going to like, then you can always put stuff on here. You can always put pool home, because maybe this is the only one that has a pool. Maybe this one has solar, anything that may be detailed. So that way they know, that way they can say, okay, it just helps them make their decision at the end when they're done showing, instead of asking you again and again and again. They have the information that they need. So once they have this, then you could do one of 2 things. You're ready to go. You can rename this instead of multi-map. You can put Amy and Brad's, showings, and then the date, whatever day you're going to show them, 2/17/21, apply. And then what you can do here is there's an arrow out here, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with. When you arrow out, you can message. So I can send this, let's just say to Eva, or I could send it to Jessica or whoever, and they could see how they would receive, how their clients are going to receive this. And they could see like, okay, and then it's going to go here. So you're going to always know, hold on, what it's going to look like.
And I got it.
Yeah, so this is what it looks like when they receive it. Can you guys see that? Can you see my screen or no? Because I keep forgetting that my share. Okay.
Yes.
Sometimes okay, so this kind of shows you kind of what they receive as well. So they know what to expect and what homes they're going to see. And the nice thing about sending this ahead of time as well is, let's just say there's one that they liked, and for whatever reason we forgot it, it's not on here or something like that, then at least you could either tell them, oh, this is why it's not on there, or it'll give you the opportunity to include it and to make the appointment and add it to the showing as well. Okay, so let's see. Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, so I think I'm not sure if you said it right now. I'm not sure if you said it right now. I'm taking about 30 to 60 seconds behind what you're saying to absorb it. But so what if you do have these 5 showings scheduled, and then you send it to them Friday. Let's say you send it to them Friday, and you're going to go show property Saturday or Sunday. You sent it to them because let's say you have a full day of showings on Saturday. So you send it to them on Friday for Sunday, another buyer. And then, let's say Saturday morning, they send you another property. Can we go see this one also on Sunday? But you already sent it on Friday. How would you go back and do you go back and add it, or do you just make a side note? Oh, let's just throw this one in there. Do you redo this?
No, I redo it. So this is what I do. Let me go back to share my screen. I'm driving me nuts about the share screen. I'm sorry. It's driving me crazy because you can't see what I'm doing unless I stop and do it again. But anyway, so here we are. Let's just say, it may seem like it's a lot of work, but it really isn't. Trust me, it's not. And you get used to it. And it'll save work in the long run. So let's just say this person, I was going to show, all these 5 properties. And then like you're saying, they call and add another property. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this. You don't have to copy and paste everything all over again. If you notice, can you guys see this right here? It says recent searches. You see that?
The thing is in the way. I think let me move it.
Yeah, you have to move your
Yeah.
So underneath your name where it says hello, whoever you are, it says recent searches.
Right.
If you select recent searches, go down and find, because it goes back, a few days, at least a week. Go down and find where you inputted those homes. So you can select that, and then all you have to do is come up here and input the new MLS number.
Oh, yeah.
And then you'll, resend it to them. You're just going to have to see where it's located. Let's just say I add it right now. And when I look at the map, I'm like, oh, shoot, I should be showing that property 3rd. Then I'll copy and paste it and put it here in the 3rd slot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those gray dashes that go up and down?
Where?
Right next to the check marks?
Yes. You can move it. Yeah. That's another way. I know. I'm old school. But yeah, you can do it that way too. But I'm so used to doing it that way. For me, whatever works.
Okay, I just just in case.
Yeah. So once you guys are done, like I said, you'll send it to your clients. And then once they have it, if there's any questions or whatever, then at that point, they can go over it with you and let you know. So it's just really up to you on what you guys decide, how you guys, want to do that. Does
Mhm.
anybody have any questions, or want to see anything else?
Mhm.
Sonia, when you send them the route, are you just sending the multi-map with the addresses? Or are you sending the full property profile to them?
Oh, no.
Or just the map?
Yeah, you know what? I do send them this as well. I don't usually send that till the day that I'm meeting them, but you can send it at any time. It's your choice. But let me show you. So when I go here to print, you can do right here, the customer flyer. And then you can also send this to them. You can email it to them, and it has more information, like, regarding if there's HOA or whatever, what have you. Yeah, you can send this to them and they can review it as well. So it's just really up to you. But I was finding that they don't even review it. And that's kind of why I was like, I'm not even going to send it, because they don't,
Yeah.
they don't really, they don't take the time. So
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, the same thing. They end up in the trash or whatever. They don't even look at them anyways.
yeah, they really don't. And so that's been my experience anyways.
Mhm.
So what I try to do is I'll send them the map, because I know that they need to know where we're going. And I tell them, this is where we're going, so that way they, you guys know where to go next. So they at least look at that, the price is on there, and there's some basic details. Not everything's on there. There's not a lot on there. But yeah, you could do it like that. So just really up to your client on how some clients want to be in the know, they want to know everything. And then there's others that just want the bare minimum. They want you to do it all. They want you to walk them through everything. So kind of just play it by ear.
Now, when you go out to do your showings, you have all the property profile PDF on your iPad,
Yes.
so that you can review it when you're there, or give them the information when you're there, but
Absolutely.
not a
So
copy.
right. So I do take my iPad with me, and I will have the agent full. That's what I have. And you have that, and I'll have that page open, while I'm showing. So that way, if they ask me a specific question or anything, or if I review it before, then on my iPad, I can highlight certain things. So let's just say, for instance, this says something about, I don't know, something that's not included or something. And I'll make sure I highlight that, or I'll make sure, like, for instance, this one has association, it's $146 monthly, then I'll also make sure of that. And that's another thing, like I talked about, scrubbing the listings on the concierge mode, is how many condos are actually FHA approved. You see what I'm saying? And then you're sending them to them, and they're like, well, why are you sending me stuff I can't buy? They do get upset, because especially right now, the way the market is. So everything, that opportunity that they see, they want to, have that opportunity. But if it's something that off the bat that they're not going to be able to qualify for, it's just better you don't send it to them. And, and you're just letting them know, like, if I don't send you something, it's because I've done my research, I've checked, and it just looks so much better. Because if they are on Zillow or on Redfin or anywhere else, they might ask you, what, I see these properties, in this particular place. You're going to know, because you've done your research. At that point, you can say, what, that community is not FHA approved. That's why I haven't sent you any of those. Oh, okay, I see. So it's better than, what, I don't know, let me see why I didn't send those. I have no clue. Like, just notice the difference of your response. It shows that you're doing what you're supposed to. You're not doing the bare minimum. That's why I stress to, the agents, know your area, know your community, know what it is that you're selling. You have to know your product. It's super important, because remember, everyone's trying to say right now that a realtor is not needed. What is a realtor doing? What are they truly doing for us now that we can't do ourselves? So you have to show your worth. You have to show that, because any like they say, Joe Blow agent can show up and open a door. That's easy. But being able to give me the details, the facts, anything that I need, and not everybody shows up prepared. And that's the thing. You want to be prepared. You want to show up and show why you're the expert and why they need you by their side. That's, that's the whole, purpose of being prepared. And it is difficult, especially right now, to really do this work even 2 days before you're going to do showings, because everything is selling so fast. But you're just going to have to, gauge it and, have it make sense for you, because you should know that area. And when they're actually, these homes are selling in 2 days, forget about it, or these homes are selling, I do have time. I like it when agents put in the remarks, showings are going to stop this day, and it's going to be, offers are going to be presented this day. So that way, if you're wasting your time or not. It's nice when they do that. They eliminate the calls that they don't want to get.
Mhm.
Well, some of them, So does anybody have any?
What happened
Go.
to me with the client for Big Bear? It said on Redfin, oh, it's in a fire zone. And I said, that's not necessarily true. So I asked for the, it had fallen out of escrow. So I asked for the NHD report, and it wasn't in a fire zone. So I gave it to her. I said, it's not, or not a flood zone, sorry. And she was like, oh, wow. Like, you have to be on your A game, because all these people are trying to, outcompete you. So knowledge
It
is
is so
power.
true. It is so true. I mean, and see, and this is the thing. I mean, this is getting off the subject of what we're doing here, but the whole thing is, and I think I mentioned to this yesterday, there's more licensed agents than active listings. Okay. Doesn't mean that they're good agents, doesn't mean that they're full-time agents, doesn't mean that they, are even part of the board. But what it means is everybody thinks that our job is easy. Everybody thinks you're a realtor, you're overpaid. What do you guys do? I don't want to be a chauffeur. I could do Uber. I don't want to be a chauffeur. We have more liability than an Uber driver. So, and you know what I'm saying? So you want to be looked at as a professional. You want them to say, you know what, I'm going to make this purchase. I need to align myself with a professional. And that is what you want. So if you want that, you have to show up as it. And it does take time, and it does take, educating ourselves. It does take research. It takes all of that, because the market is constantly changing. So a lot of times if we think, oh, I looked at that last week, that was last week. Things are constantly moving, constantly. And that's why I say it's important for you to be on top of your buyers, because remember, buyers have every tool at their fingertips. They Google everything. And trust me when I say that, Katie knows. We had a client, I told her they Google everything. And it's funny because they told Katie, oh, we Googled this and this. And she's like, she was laughing because she's like, you were right. They do Google everything. I could tell by the questions they were asking me that they Googled everything. So that's why I'm telling you, and then what is there? There's ads on Google, right? There's agents. There's agents there. So it's like, you know what? Let me ask someone else. Let me see. And then you're opening that up. So you want to close that gap where there's no doubt. So by feeling, having the answers, and you're going to get better as each one goes. You're not going to be perfect. None of us are perfect, because there's always going to be a new question that's asked that we're like, I'm not sure, and so at that point, just let them know, you know what, things are changing so quickly in our industry. Before I give you that answer, I just want to confirm that, nothing has changed since, the last time this happened, or something like that. Instead of saying, I don't know. Don't ever say that. Don't ever say, I don't know. So, just figure out what your best response is, but just make sure you get back to them as soon as possible, because that's our biggest problem, is getting back. We forget. It's not that we don't want to do the work. I don't believe that. I just believe in our business. We get another call now. So now we have another buyer, or now we have someone else who's thinking about selling. So that person who we were supposed to get back to, we forget about them because we're moving on to something else. So that's why I say it's super important to try to have all your facts and try to, answer all questions, do everything in the now. So we'll be doing an iPad class soon again, because right now I couldn't do business without it. Because I forget, or I get busy and I move on to the next thing. So thankfully I can do everything in that moment, so I don't have to do it later. So like I said, I'll be sharing that with you guys as well. You guys have any other questions? No, we're good. Trying to see here. Versus. Yeah, that is good. Siri is definitely a good reminder. So I hope you guys all, got something valuable from it, and hopefully it helps you. Again, you don't have to do it exactly how I do. I just want to show you kind of what I do. And like I told Jessica, I'm old school. Once I do something a certain way, I get so used to that, and it just works for me. But if you guys got one thing, it's like, oh, this is going to help to do this, do what makes sense for you. And I really hope that it streamlines, the work, because it is a lot of work to put these houses together, to schedule appointments, especially if you have multiple clients, and you have to, go in multiple areas. It is a little bit more tricky. But what I was mentioning to you guys is, if I was showing, like, let's say, for instance, I have a client that wants to go across 3 or 4 cities. I had a client one time who wanted to see Lakewood, Long Beach, and Buena Park, and Anaheim. So that's a big stretch. So when I did that, because you had to go into showing time and schedule your appointments, then I went here and I just selected them, and then I went directions. And I picked the directions, because what it did was it told me that the drive time between each one. So I figured, okay, I'm in the house 15, 20 minutes, and then the drive time's this. So when I would make the appointment, it would give me more, I was able to gauge it a little bit better. So, and that's because, like I said, it was a long stretch and I wasn't sure. So just so you know, you guys also can do this as well, because it'll give you the estimated time that it's going to take you to get from each place to each place. Obviously, these are close because they're all upland, but other one was like 20 minutes, 16 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So like I said, it just makes it easier for you to plan your day. Okay. So back in the day, this is how old school I am. When I first started, I had to use a Thomas guide. And the one page that I used so much was the like Fontana, Rialto, Colton page. And every time I would buy a Thomas guide, it would rip out because I used it so much. So I finally laminated it. I copied it and I had it laminated. And that was my life, that thing. And I would use a dry erase marker on it and put one and then go here and there. So we're so lucky to have this. You have no clue. So utilize it, like really utilize it, as much as you can. So, and we didn't have email or all that stuff, it was fax, thermal fax. So yeah, those were the good days for sure. But those are the days you got to meet the agents too, because you actually would drive your offer to their office. It was easier that way. So it's just different times for sure, but easy times.
Can you imagine having 18 agents come to meet you to give you their offer?
Yeah, it wasn't like that. Yeah, you had one offer, maybe two, maybe. It was nothing like that. So it was completely, like I said, different times, very different times. So anyhow, so if you guys don't have any more questions, thank you guys for joining today. And if you guys need anything else, just let me know, reach out to me, and I'll be happy to help you guys. And good luck showing out there. Go kill it. Get those offers out.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I put in the notes, I got better today between the 10 a.m. call and this one. I legit got my 1% today.
Awesome. That's what I love to hear. Just implement it, guys. Implement it. Trust me. Baby steps is okay. Just, just do something, do something to make, to make it easier for you guys.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye, guys.
Bye.